How you feel about people that say Reggie Wright has something to do with Tupac death?
Reggie, no. Come on now. Really? People really saying that? That Reggie had something to do with it? No, absolutely not. I mean, people need to dig deeper and ask what was the consolation prize in Reggie gaining to have that done? I mean, what did he gain? Because it's 25 years later. How many years are we? We're 25 years later. What did he gain if that was the case? Nothing. So why? I laugh at that. I laugh at all these stories of this person had something to do with it. No. Simply, Pac got into some gangbanger shit and it went west. It went east, west, south, north that night. And had he not got into that, he would probably still be here.
You in Vegas after a fight. I done been in Vegas. I don't know if any of y'all out there been to Vegas, but you can't move nowhere after a fight. It's thrown up. You don't go nowhere. It's nowhere to move. So if somebody gonna drive by in a white caddy and get away, man, come on, man. Don't talk to me about no fakeness, man. Let's talk on some seriousness, man. This ain't no gangbang thing. It ain't no gangbang thing. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. There's something way deeper than that. You're looking past what really going on here. You know what I mean? You get it set up. You see east-west. Oh, that's the perfect alibi. It's an east-west thing going on. We easily come kill everybody. You're going to blame it on some gangbang thing. You ain't driving by on nothing in Vegas and disappearing into no desert after no fight. You can't move nowhere. You can't go across the street without a half an hour wait walking.
It was some gangbanger stuff that took place that night. And
I don't think that Orlando Anderson was, maybe he was a shooter, but he wasn't behind it. What is your theory?
I believe Orlando Anderson was some kind of pawn. Can I curse?
Yeah, you could curse.
Because my emotions is getting.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. Negroes do a whole bunch of stupid shit for money, and ain't no telling. Ain't no telling. I think it's bigger than just some gangbangers.
It was clean.
Very clean, nice and tidy. And I keep saying to people, know your enemy. Know your enemy. That's where what Pac and I learned as kids growing up about FBI, COINTELPRO, covert operations that, that are invisible to you or can be real. You know what I mean?
And my theory is, that guy Orlando was a killer. And, he was jumped. And in his mindset, there was only one way to retaliate. Come on, that's his mindset at that point. He was from that area where that doesn't happen. And if that does happen, the retaliation is fierce. And it happened. So I don't believe any of that. I don't believe Reggie had anything to do with that. And it would be nothing for him to gain, Too many conspiracy theories, So many of them.
So you personally believe that Orlando Anderson was the one that shot Tupac?
I 100% believe that, and I 100% believe that it was people say maybe been planned or whatever. I just think it was a direct effect of what happened.
Well, that whole Orlando Anderson thing, man, it was really bullshit.
Yeah, even when he came in, they put him on stand, and the judge asked me, said, do you know Suge Knight? I said, you don't know Suge Knight. I said, what did he do? The only thing he did was help me and save my life, which I basically did because, Pac was my little brother and the #1 artist out on the bond, and if he would have got in trouble, he was going back to prison.
Yeah.
So I knew it was cameras everywhere in Vegas because I went to UNLV. They just take us to the top and let us watch. So, I was breaking up saying, cut that bullshit out right in here. But at the same time, they just played with the thing the way they wanted to play with it. And, see, the thing is, those guys, if you go back and watch the film, they was already stalking Pac, like watching him. So that just tipped the iceberg when something happened. But there was a plan already to do something to him.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, I had two of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled him off of me. It didn't have to happen. I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never said nobody.
Yeah.
And Frank blocked us in purposely. Later, he told us at the streets. They told him to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, Frank got so bad he died, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And Michael Moore.
Yeah. And then, Perez and them was all involved. They were trying to kill me too, but see, because Perez and Reg was good friends, and Perez and Sarita and Reg is great friends, and so all those three together was trying to plot, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Russell got it right before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Did Tupac life mean anything? Because they never saw that case. Sometimes if you saw the first case, you might have saw the second case. But that never happened, correct?
Yep.
If I asked you, who killed Tupac, who would you say?
Who pulled the trigger? Orlando Anderson, is what I've been told.
Okay, have anybody been arrested? Because it's not one person in the car. He didn't drive. He wasn't the driver and the trigger man, was he?
I'm 4:03 p.m. Las Vegas time. Tupac Shakur passed away, y'all. Give me a moment of silence.
All right, this is where the whole melee took place. This guy getting the shit kicked out of him is Orlando Anderson. Tupac is there somewhere. And look at that guy doing the ground and pound. Watch this. Boom, boom. And here's Tupac and Suge Knight making a hasty escape. Now, Suge Knight just violated the terms of his parole, which is why he's sitting in a federal penitentiary right now.
2 hours after this, Tupac Shakur is killed in a drive-by off the Strip.
That Frank didn't have a gun, he lit into Frank's ass about it. He was upset. I think that would be an understatement. But Frank did have a reason for not having his weapon. He said he was told that he couldn't bring a gun into the city limits, and if they were found with weapons, they would be arrested. And did he say who told him that? It would have come from somebody an authoritative figure who can tell Frank, you know, what to do. He said they said we couldn't have guns in the city of Las Vegas, or if they caught us, we would be arrested. And that was that.
So the motive is Suge Knight is a young kid who's gotten rich. He's really not a gangster, but he's playing a gangster role. He's hooked up with gangster folks. He's causing trouble. He's drawing the feds, he's drawing attention, and we're making a lot of money. Okay? So let's get him out the way. Then you got to be able to carry this mission out. To have the means. You got to have the means. If you're going to kill somebody, you better understand what the play is going to look like if you want to get away. And no one understands a successful homicide better than homicide police. The head of gangs and homicide from the Compton PD is Reggie Wright Sr., and the head of security at Death Row is Reggie Wright Jr. Wow. Well, let's be clear about it. Who in your mind do you think killed Tupac Shakur? Who was at the MGM Grand? Who knew the route to the nightclub? And you put those pieces together, you know who you at. Why not name names? It was nice knowing. I'm not playing. If you don't believe most of this on the cutting floor, this will be the last time you see me.
Have been indicted on federal drug trafficking and money laundering charges. Prosecutors say Reggie Wright Sr. and his son Reggie Wright Jr. are both members of the Grape Street Crips gang. Both arrested last week in Southern California on federal drug trafficking and money laundering charges out of Memphis, Tennessee. Prosecutors say the father and son are among 22 gang members and gang associates responsible for running a drug pipeline from Los Angeles to a gang in Memphis. The drugs include heroin, marijuana, meth, and cocaine. Reggie Wright Jr. also worked at Compton PD, but later left law enforcement to work for Suge Knight and Death Row Records.
just wanted to know if you should be put back.
But you know, when they say the shooting happened there at the car wash hamburger stand off Alondra and Willowbrook, that area. But he was found on the one street just
over.
Yeah, and the first person on the scene, Randy, was Reggie Wright.
Imagine that.
First person, man. And he was shocked when he saw myself and Pilcher there at first. The first unit to show up, undercover narcotics officers.
Wow.
You know.
I did not know.
Yeah, and he was dead. They shot him up good. That's why I say there's conspiracy there where possibly he followed and called, you know, okay, he's over here. Let's do him in. Let's get it done.
Wow.
All right. So then there's another write-up that Ray Richardson got a dying declaration from Orlando Anderson. And
what did he say? I
funny.
killed Tupac.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get back to the night of the fight where Tupac passed away. He comes out the ring with you and he gets into the altercation. I mean, what was that like for you to hear Tupac got, you know, murdered on the strip or shot up on the strip?
Hey, listen, right? I just think this is just my personal opinion. That stuff, and I never said that all that stuff was planned in advance, man.
Yo, Iron Mike, so you believe that all that was plotted before any fight, any shit that ever happened?
No, I believe, but I know not that, but I believe the fight was the opportunity for it to happen.
Could you elaborate? I don't understand. Like,
I just believe that was the opportunity. That was the perfect opportunity for something like that to happen.
Yeah, because everybody from all over would meet up in the same place.
Everybody knew everybody was going to be there. And the people that wasn't there because they knew who was going to be there. And we know everybody who wasn't there. And the people that wasn't there because they knew who was going to be there. And we know everybody who wasn't there.
Yeah, man, that was that was sad, man, for just life, man. And then as I got older and I realized the Tupac story and how he came from the Black Panthers and his mother and his stepfather, and then I realized his music, why he has such a powerful message in his music.
You know, Tupac, this is the deal with Tupac, and this is just the real. Tupac was just a force. He was just an uncontrolled force, and that was the problem, you know? He was powerful, and no one can control him.
Yeah, he wouldn't let nobody control him. He wouldn't let nobody control him.
And Orlando Anderson or whoever I portrayed as the killer. You know, that's just the way we come up in this country. You know, we either come up as killers or we come up as successful. You know,
of course, for those who don't know, Orlando Anderson was the guy who he had gotten into the altercation with in the hotel after the fight, and they alleged that he had actually pulled the trigger to kill Tupac, and he was killed, what, a year or two or something like that afterwards?
Yeah, right after Pac. He was killed maybe less than 2 years after Pac in a drug deal going bad in Los Angeles. And he always denied it, but you know, a lot of people believe that he had a lot to do with it. I tend to believe that he didn't kill Pac because I got information from very reliable people.
Even if we let Suge Knight tell his story, he's saying that Orlando Anderson didn't kill Pac.
Right.
So I think we can weed him out altogether,
you
know?
Right. So that's not how
How you feel about people that say Reggie Wright has something to do with Tupac death?
Reggie, no. Come on now. Really? People really saying that? That Reggie had something to do with it? No, absolutely not. I mean, people need to dig deeper and ask what was the consolation prize in Reggie gaining to have that done? I mean, what did he gain? Because it's 25 years later. How many years are we? We're 25 years later. What did he gain if that was the case? Nothing. So why? I laugh at that. I laugh at all these stories of this person had something to do with it. No. Simply, Pac got into some gangbanger shit and it went west. It went east, west, south, north that night. And had he not got into that, he would probably still be here.
Vaughn.